Bless. Cool, we're recording. I wish it like made a noise. So, I decided to make this video here where I kind of talk about like my journey to realizing that I was asexual and that I'm not a hetero white boy. And just kind of like what that process was like for me and, stuff like that. I'm going to try to keep this one kind of short, but it's probably not going to be because I'm pretty long-winded. But before I begin, I do want to sort of have a trigger/content warning because I will be discussing things like sex, obviously, masturbation, and like sexual assault and things like that. Because I feel like that's things that need to be discussed, kind of, when discussing asexuality, sort of. Because I've also have like a list of questions here on my computer that like are just commonly asked to asexuals that I can just kind of refer to and answer, sort of. So, without further ado, let us begin. So, for starters, I kind of, like most people, I think, when they're in, like, elementary and preschool, was sort of just, like, de facto hetero because of how heteronormative society is. It's just like, oh, you like, I'd be 4 or 5 years old and people would be asking me, like, oh, you got a girlfriend? Like, dude, I'm still shitting myself. I don't know what's going on. And like, I never really thought about it. Like, I'm not really even attracted to people. I would just, every school year, I would have my homeroom class, and whichever person in the class, generally a girl, was the most conventionally attractive, that was the girl I liked. It's the girl I would tell my friends that I had a thing for, but I would never make any effort to even get remotely close to them. Didn't want to. Nope. Not for me. And that's just pretty much how it always went for me until high school. In high school, I don't really know what happened. I just kind of quit doing that and didn't really give a fuck. Yeah. It's not a very exciting journey. The exciting journey for me was finding the word, I guess, because I didn't know that even existed. I live in Southwest Ohio, pretty rural. I mean, 99.8% of this county is white. So, and I didn't hang around with a whole lot of people in general at my school, so like the band kids I think were generally more queer. It seemed like I was just kind of my own thing. I wasn't in a group. I wasn't hated by anybody. Wasn't particularly liked. I was just kind of I was there. I was liked enough by the popular crowd to not get bullied by them, but disliked enough by the actual bullies to get bullied by them. It was very annoying. So that's kind of how that went. But, I think my asexuality, though, I think, because, there's not like a right answer for like where sexuality comes from. Like, some people be like, oh, it's biology, oh, it's social stuff. And it's like, I think it can be like both or really just fucking random. Like, just like any other thing. It's just random. You might be born with blue eyes. You might be born with green eyes. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck knows why? You just are. It just happens. So I think, like, for me, you know what? I'm just going to start at the very beginning and realize I'm 4 minutes in and I've just been rambling. But fuck it. Deal with it. I don't know. So this is a triggering kind of story, but I need to tell it because I feel like this might be where some of my stuff begins. So I was probably 3 years old and I lived with my mother. My parents never married, so like when they split up from dating, my mom got custody of me, despite the fact she was a crack whore. And so we lived in a like Section 8 shitty apartment complex, and I was playing on the playground one day, and I got hit in the back of the head with something. Last thing I remember is just a thunk, and it was just black. Woke up, triggering story. Woke up, and I shit you not, rope tied to a bed, like just like a normal bed, with 6 or 7 teenage boys between the ages of about 13 to 18 just standing over me. So, yeah. I don't remember exactly like everything that happened, but which is probably a good thing. But I remember like they tried to get me to suck their dick, which is like, first of all, time out. That's really gay. But, like, why? There's 7 of you. Y'all can't suck each other's dick? Fuck. Losers. But yeah, they did that. Then they pissed on me, too, which was something. That's a whole other thing. But, so I think, like, it kind of maybe started there. I'm not really sure. But I remember I've always kind of had an aversion to just oral sex is what I initially thought it was. Like, when I was hitting puberty, I was like, man, I really don't like the idea of oral sex. And when I was 11, 12 years old, I didn't even know you could eat pussy. I didn't know it was a thing. You know, because I'm fucking 11 years old. I don't know that shit. And then I found out you could do it. I was like, oh. And it still did nothing for me up here. It didn't click. Like, yeah, that sounds cool. Just nothing. Nothing at all. Yeah, and so, but once I went into high school, I started attempting to date people, and it just always shit every time. You know, I'd get like led on or whatever, or people would date me on a dare. I dated a couple of people, kind of, but not really. I dated one girl who just recently passed, but that wasn't really dating. You know what I mean? She was just kind of a friend that we kind of dated, I guess. Not really. I don't really know what you would call it. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but there was another girl who I dated when I was a sophomore, and she was a freshman in high school. I don't know what those are in other countries. And, you know, it was the end of the day. I was going to walk her out to the bus, get on my bus, and just out of fucking nowhere, she leads me into the girls' bathroom, which was abandoned. Or empty, not abandoned. I mean, people used it. It was just empty at that present moment. And just, she's wearing like loose-fitting gym shorts, proceeds to grab my 2 fingers and just jam them up her. So that was horrifying. Didn't like that at all. And then, you know, again, when I was a senior, I was molested by a fucking junior girl, which was a whole other thing, because I was asleep. I was asleep on the bus in the early morning. She just started, you know, I'm fucking wake up, like, what the fuck? Ugh. So I feel like a lot of my asexuality may be rooted in, like, sexual assault. But, like, even then, I don't really think about it. You know, that's one of the questions is, do I masturbate / think about sex? So I don't really think about sexual intercourse. Like, you know, inserting things into places. That just disgusts me. Like, that almost makes me gag. But, like, I do think about, like, being intimate or sensual without being sexual. Like, I don't know, BDSM as an example doesn't really do anything for me one way or another. So, like, I think that could be something I could be interested in. Who the fuck knows? Maybe I'm actually a really great dominatrix. The male form of dominatrix. You know, whatever that is. Dominator. That sounds about right. Yeah. Maybe I'm a dominator. Who knows? And the masturbate question's annoying, but this is something that I think a lot of asexual people get. And they just are like, oh, well, what do you do? How do you, relieve stress? Like, first of all, I do a lot of things to relieve stress. Read comics, write my book, read things online, play video games, listen to music. And before anyone asks, yes, I do masturbate sometimes. Do I do it all the time? No, I'm not like fucking constantly thinking about getting a nut off. A lot of times it's just like, well, fuck, I guess I gotta fucking do that. It's a whole thing. But I didn't do it for the first time until I was 17, which I know is like, wow, you were a teenage boy and you went that long? Yeah, I just didn't think about it at all. Like, seriously, people would send me nude photos, and I just didn't care. Like, at all. And that's another question is, do you like boobs / nudity? Which is another one that I think male asexuals get all the time. They're like, well, you don't like tits? Like, dude, everyone on Earth likes tits. Even gay men like tits. They're tits. But I like nudity in a different way. I don't look at, like, naked bodies and think about exploring them. I look at nudity as intrinsic to, like, who we are and almost powerful, I guess, in a way to some people. You know, I think it's cool to be naked. You know, like, why not? Why the fuck not? Especially if you're in your own house. Like, if you're in your own house, just fucking walk around and let your shit out. I don't care. You know, that's you. You do your thing. You know, I think sports should be done naked because it's how the Greeks did it. Yep. Stand by that. The Olympics should be done in the nude. Without a doubt. Another one, I'm just going to ramble out these questions real quick just because they're here. Do I get erections? I tend to get this question from people who I think are the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet who don't understand how the male reproductive system works. So, boners are not exclusively related to arousal. Like, at all. It's the same way that, like, for lack of a better term, vaginal moistness is not linked intrinsically to arousal. They just happen. It's part of the body's like natural process. You know, erections are a blood flow thing. But also you can just get one from friction. Like, you do not have to be in it to have a boner. That's how men can get raped. It's strictly friction. Like, that's all it is. It's really not that difficult to understand. Do I get them as frequently as other people? I don't fucking know what the frequency on, like, boners today's is. Never made a fucking chart. You know, like, if my libido is average, you know, but again, this is just me, not every asexual person on the fucking planet. You know what I mean? Because asexuality is a spectrum, like gender or autism. You know, not every person who identifies as asexual is the same. I don't really identify as sex repulsed because I like talking about sex. I think sex is important to talk about, and I think it's a good thing to talk about. I think it's healthy to talk about openly. But some asexual people are absolutely disgusted by the notion of even mentioning sex. And that's okay, and that's completely valid. It's the same way that some straight people don't like to get shit on, and other straight people like to get shit on. It's all cool. You know, I mean, do you, I guess. The other question on here is, what is dating like as an asexual? Well, let me tell you, it is unknown to me because I have literally never dated anyone in my entire life where it's like going on dates. Don't really have too much desire to. I guess my DM's open. If, you know, you're alive. It's really my only criteria. You know, I don't really have a type. I don't think. I don't know. DM open. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm supposed to talk about because I've never really thought about this aspect of me because it's just once I found the word, I was like, oh yeah, you know, that fucking clicks. Because, I don't know. I mean, I've always said, and this is going to come out really wrong, but I've always kind of thought that I'm not attracted to men, like, at all. I think men can be attractive, and I can see attractive men, but I'm not attracted to them. And while I can kind of be attracted to women, and I obviously can appreciate attractive people, I kind of think that, like, a lot of people my age are just, like, really fucking annoying. As bad as that sounds, like, especially some of the women. Like, keep in mind, like, I don't go anywhere. I'm just seeing people on dating sites, but it's like, oh, damn, another 23-year-old girl who likes astrology and rap music, and she's white. And you can just tell by the way she looks exactly how she talks. It's like they come off of an assembly line. I swear, women on dating apps are not real. I mean, maybe men on dating apps aren't real either. They clearly come off of an assembly line because they all like the same shit. It's annoying. Really limits my playing field. I don't know. But yeah, like, another question that always comes up is like, well, do you want to get, like, married or have children? No. No. I don't really understand the concept of marriage, really. Like, I kind of understand the idea, but not really, because I'm not religious, so I don't really see how a priest going on like, by the power vested in me by the state of Massachusetts, you're allowed to fuck this single woman for the rest of your life. You know, like, I don't see how that and putting a ring on someone's finger really, like, means anything. Like, I could be eternally faithful to someone without going through all the hubbub of fucking wedding. And if I know anything from rom-coms, weddings are stressful, and the husband will generally end up doing something really stupid while the wife is just frazzled the whole time. It's just how rom-coms work. Like, can we get like a role reversal there where the husband's freaking out the whole time and she's just stupid as shit? That'd be funny. Anyway, and as for children, not really, no, because sex. But like, I mean, it'd be kind of cool, I guess, maybe. But I don't want fucking kids right now, or ever, really. I'd adopt a child if I wanted one. Be like, yeah, that one looks good, and then just take it. I mean, I'd file the necessary paperwork. I wouldn't just take the child from the adoption agency. You know, I would file the paperwork, wait for the screening process, hear back from the agency or orphanage, whatever the fuck they're called, I don't know, and then go get the child, probably with some gifts to buy their affection. And then, yeah, that's how that would go. I wouldn't, like, take a child from, whatever. But, no, I think that, like, you know, I think my trauma came about is kind of why the asexuality triggered in my head, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I try to logically explain everything, and that makes me seem kind of stupid. But I don't give a F. As for, like, dating, like, wanting to date people, no, I've just been burned too many times to really give a fuck anymore. Like, at all. Every person, I just don't care. But, and then this next thing isn't a question, it's just things that asexual people are told, and I have it in bold, so I remember to say it. It's like, you just haven't found the right person, you're too picky, or don't be a prude. It's like, what? Am I supposed to be picky, or am I supposed to settle? Because the same people who tell you don't be picky will tell you to your face they don't settle either. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Find a middle ground? What the fuck's a middle ground? I'm gonna be as picky as I fucking want. There are 8 billion people on this planet. I'm gonna look through every motherfucking one of them, and then I'm gonna decide which one of them I'm gonna be with. That's how I'm rolling. Ugh. And, you know, don't be a prude because I won't, like, put out, which, it's so weird. Like, society celebrates men for having sex and celebrates women for not having sex. And the inverse is also true. Men are chastised when they don't, and women are chastised when they do. And it's like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? If I put my dick in 15 women, I'm a fucking conquering hero. Why? It's not that difficult of a thing to achieve. If it were, less people would do it. It's like when people call childbirth a miracle. It's not. It happens thousands of times every day. A miracle would be like some dude walking on water or something. That's a miracle. Or that's actually defying the laws of physics. I don't know what a miracle would be. If the fucking a building is about to collapse and like it just conveniently doesn't hit where you're at, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. Or like, I don't know what the fuck a miracle is. But, and like, you haven't found the right person. Boy, I have tried. It don't work. Ever. I'm on like 7 dating apps. They all fail. I consistently say, like, yeah, I'd like to be matched with women within 150 miles of me. And the dating apps are like, you fucking got it, bro. Here is Tran from Vietnam. Like, what the fuck? I mean, she pretty, but she in Vietnam. I'm not gonna fly to fucking Hanoi. Maybe I will. Who knows? And I'm not kidding. I consistently match with people from Vietnam and Europe and like Canada. Never fucking the United States. I was born on the wrong continent. Like, I'm like an American 4, but I'm like a European fucking sex god. Like, I'm a symbol over there, apparently. I mean, I had a tally chart for a while that I kept. And it was like 5 Dutch women, 6 Germans, 3 English people, and 1 French woman. And it's like, what the fuck? What? But anyway, so I'm getting to the 20-minute mark. This is way longer than I wanted. It was very rambly, but I just felt like kind of just riffing. Didn't really know exactly what to discuss. Didn't make a script. Didn't feel like making a script. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm asexual. I'm proud to be asexual. I'm always going to be this way. So people sending their open-faced vulvas in my DMs is not going to change that, which I have gotten numerous times. Yep, I've also gotten dick pics, so, and they're both annoying. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, why send the when you have boobs? Everyone likes boobs. Not everyone likes vulvas, but everyone likes boobs. I don't understand the world or how it works. But this is another thing. I don't have the question listed, but I wanted to bring it up. Is how do I feel about like sex scenes and stuff in movies? So, sex scenes in movies are really bad, so they don't do anything for me anyway. Sex scenes in porn are gross. Like, really gross. Like, I do watch pornography, but I don't watch hardcore pornography. Like, if I see something going in something, I'm out. I'm checking out so quick. So quick, I'm out. But, like, sex scenes in movies are just so dull. Because it's generally just two people under covers doing this. And occasional close-ups of, like, the woman's face going. That's it. That's a sex scene in a movie. People like, and some people will point out, like, oh, there's always so many unnecessary sex scenes in a movie. Look, here's my thing. If the characters are together, like married partners, or they are like a love interest, and they fuck, it's not unnecessary. Let it be very clear. An unnecessary sex scene would be if two people were just speaking to each other as you would talk to the cashier at Walmart, and then in the very next scene they're fucking for no reason. That would be unnecessary, and especially if it's never brought up again. That's unnecessary. But yeah, and I also noticed some things with like sex scenes in movies that, like, especially recently, because we live in a really weird era in film where sex scenes are like not as prevalent as people on Twitter think they are. Like, seriously, there are 31 movies in the highest grossing film franchise of all time, and I think there's been like 2 references to sex since 2010, which is ridiculous. Like, it just is. It just doesn't make any sense. You know we've got to come up. And none of them are fucking dating. How are they not? It's a whole different thing. But anyway, so yeah, ended up going a little longer than I wanted. Again, long-winded, like rambling. Don't have friends in real life, so hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, then, I don't know. I'm sorry. But if you did, then feel free to, sub or dom, whatever's your fancy, or switch. Follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram, too, I guess. I don't fucking upload there, because it's a dog shit app. So is Twitter, but every social media platform sucks donkey balls. But, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Gonna end this video now. Don't know how to end videos, so just, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good way to end that video. Auf Wiedersehen.